Athletes, welcome back. We're changing it up on you a little bit, and we are starting a how-to series to answer questions or just give you some points of performance on movements that you may have questions about. So we got your back. We want you guys to give us feedback on movements you would like to see and questions that you have on particular movements. Athletes, today we've got the dumbbell power clean. Specifically, we're gonna go over our double version, but we will also show you the single version in case that comes up in a workout for you. So we're gonna join Seth once again, who is going to be doing our dumbbell power clean for us. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna start out on the outsides of our legs. We will go to the insides eventually, but with this movement, you will see varying standards dependent on what workout or competition that you're doing. This has been one of those that we've seen fluctuate back and forth. Traditionally, when we go into a dumbbell clean and jerk, it's gonna be on the outsides of our feet, so that's what we'll start with. Seth is gonna go ahead and grab these dumbbells, and I'm gonna have him stand all the way up with it. Now, when we go down to the floor, typical standard is touching one head to the floor when we're going down into this movement. So he's gonna touch one head of each dumbbell to the floor. He's gonna stand and clean those receiving in the power position and standing. When Seth receives these, turn to the side for me, Seth. So just start, yep, there you go. You can see that he lets these dumbbells hang off the sides of his shoulders. You do not have to try to maintain the dumbbells in a horizontal position like that because there's no support, and mobility-wise, this could be very, very tough for you. So go ahead and stand and then turn back to the camera. I just want you to cycle through a couple reps for us here. So just give us 3 and then you can finish. Seth is doing a great job of keeping his back nice and straight as he goes down to the floor, and you see that he moves his feet as he comes up with these. So when we're going into a workout and we're doing these, if they're lighter, then you can start a little bit wider with your feet and you can come up with them and receive in that dip position. But if they get heavy or they're challenging, then we can move those feet out with each receive that we do. Now, when we switch over, if we're allowed to do these between our feet, Seth is gonna start with a little bit of a wider stance. He's gonna touch both dumbbells in between his feet to the floor. He's gonna come up and then receive in that power position once again. It's very, very tempting. Give me one more. And relax. It's very, very tempting for this movement to do a muscle clean on this, but I'm telling you, when they show up in workouts, if you were smart enough to utilize the power position from the very beginning, it's gonna save you some fatigue that would be not be necessary if you're doing those strict versions every single time. When we breathe on this movement, we wanna think that at the top, when we're nice and open and not compressed by the dumbbells being in that bottom loaded position, breathe in. You're gonna go down with your air and then you'll breathe out as we receive. When we go through power cleans, we go based off of past competition standards. There has not been an elbow standard, meaning that when you come up, when we receive, if the dumbbells touch our shoulders, the elbows do not have to pass in front of the dumbbell. But as always, depending on the competition or the workout that you're doing, always check out the standards, because this is one of those movements that has kind of gone back and forth, and you'll see a different standard or different requirements depending on where you're at. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop ourselves down to one dumbbell, and then we're gonna demo in between the legs here. So when we go with the single dumbbell version, Seth is gonna pick it up. He's gonna power clean, and give me one more, receive the power position, and then switch for me. And just like our snatch, we can switch in the air or we can switch at the floor. But he's gonna continue to do these and then switch to the other side for me, touching that one head to the floor and then standing with it. Again, utilizing that power position, and relax. It's not often that you'll see a single dumbbell on the outside, and if you have the option to do a dumbbell hang power clean or a dumbbell power clean, with a single dumbbell should always go between your legs just so that we don't load that back in an awkward position. Because as an accessory piece, you can go to the outside and focus on keeping yourself balanced, but we want to be really careful about adding that movement with intensity because we don't want to mess your back up. We want to keep you healthy so that you can get on the competition floor with Seth and show him what's up. Athletes, one more thing, because we always like to give you that bonus content, is that we are going to talk about cycle efficiency with the dumbbell power clean. So what we're gonna see Seth do is he's gonna go through 5 reps for us, and then you're gonna see him rest at the top. So we're going through 4. He's utilizing a single leg step out, which can be a little bit faster and a little bit less awkward than doing the double foot step out. When he gets done with his 5th rep, you're gonna see him pause at the top for a second, take a nice deep breath, and then go right into that next rep. If you haven't practiced the single leg step out, then that's one of those that's gonna allow you to move a little bit faster than both feet coming out and then stepping back in. The other thing that I'm gonna ask Seth to do is that he's gonna step out with the alternate foot each rep, and I'm gonna challenge him here. So we're keeping ourselves balanced. So we step back in and then we go into our next leg. This is gonna keep your body balanced because dumbbells are much less stable than a barbell. So we wanna try to find those times to sneak in the balance of the movement and work each side equally so we don't blow up on one side. Go ahead and rest. The last thing on this is that as with any movement, you wanna focus on your breathing on this. We talked about breathing briefly earlier, but make sure that you're using your breathing as your pacer for this, because again, those dumbbells can do anything they want to, which means they're often gonna press down on you and make it a lot harder to breathe. So when we bring these dumbbells up, we are more open in this position than we are when we're loaded down in the bottom. So think about taking your air, getting a nice deep breath at the top before you go into the next movement. Whether you're doing your no movement version of just coming up and receiving in the dip with lighter dumbbells to a moderate weight where we come into that single leg step out and then come back in and then go out with the other version, or you got your heavy dumbbells, you're at the 100s, the 120s, and you're working on receiving those in the power position and both feet move, we're stepping back in, using this time to breathe and go right into the next rep. So thank you guys. That covers the dumbbell power clean. If you got any questions or comments, throw them down below and we'll be happy to answer them. And as always, be good, be kind, and join us again for another great day of fitness.